All right, in this video, we're breaking down the hamstring AIS stretch. Now, AIS stands for active isolated stretching. We go over the concepts and the principles behind AIS in the hip flexor AIS video. So if you haven't watched that yet, start there. Then you can come back to this one. But this is how we are going to open up and stretch our hamstrings and consequently our calves. Because the hamstring stretches from your pelvis, right, your actual hip, all the way down to the back of your leg across the knee joint and the hip joint. So when we're stretching it properly, we're actually stretching a muscle that crosses two different joints, and you're going to feel that stretch in different places. The way that we can focus on getting it in both the hamstring and the calf is by staying dorsiflexed, right? Pulling those big toes towards our face. And that's going to be something that, a cue that we use. The way that we open up the hamstring is we flex that antagonist muscle, which in this case is going to be the quad. So the focus is going to be on bracing our abs, driving our hips down to the ground. That'll help set our pelvis to neutral, and then flexing our quad and pulling our toes up as hard as we can, almost like you're trying to cramp them. And what that does is that makes it so that the hamstring and the calf muscles are going to be more open to being stretched to that end range of motion without that Golgi tendon organ hitting, and we're going to be able to expand our mobility this way. So what it looks like is we're laying down on the ground. You're going to get one leg bent and one leg straight. And the reason for that is that with both legs bent, what it does is it gets your hip flexors involved so that your hip flexors are pulling your pelvis up, and it reduces the range of motion you can get. So by having one leg bent, that helps reset that pelvis to neutral, so it focuses the stretch on the hamstrings, and it's not being inhibited by the hip flexors holding your pelvis in a weird spot. Just getting into the biomechanics there. Point being that we're going to brace, pressing those abs to the ground, flexing that quad. You'll notice I'm pulling my toes towards my face, and I'm going to lift up as hard as I can and hold 1, 2, 3, and back down. And contract. I'm pulling as far as I can. Relax. Now you notice my hips, my butt are wanting to lift off the ground slightly. So I'm really trying to keep that tailbone pressed into the ground, abs nice and tight. Like so. And you can see as we're going through that stretch, that range of motion is starting to open up, right? As the hamstring is warming up, it's getting that stretch and it's reacquiring some of the mobility that it normally has. That is how we do our hamstring AIS. You're going to do this ideally 8 to 10 reps, minimum of 5, but getting 8 to 10 reps, a couple sets of that at the beginning of your workout. You can also mix it in throughout the workout if you have tight hamstrings or you just want to add some extra mobility, something to superset, keep you moving during your recovery period. And at that point, if you're doing a lot of different sets of it, you only really need to do about 5 reps each leg, 3 to 5, kind of in there. And that will add up to a lot of time spent at that end range of motion throughout your workout. And especially if you're doing it in the beginning as well, you're going to get a ton of mobility in a very short period of time if you're attacking it correctly. So things to remember are flexing the quad, bracing the abs, tailbone glued to the ground, quad is cramping, toes are pulled up, hold for 3 seconds at the top. And that is our hamstring AIS. We'll see you in the next video.